Hello, my friends. I'm Rick, and this is your seat at the table, and this thing is getting glurky on me. I hit the button to switch over, and it took a pause to get there. Don't like it. Like I said, there's something going on with this laptop. I don't like it. I'm not a computer guy, so I don't know what it could be. It just pray it can hold on as long as it can, because it's going to be a while before I can successfully have enough money put back to pay for a new one. Anyhow, so I'm going to bring up something that's just a hair different from my usual BS on my channel, right? And I suppose I should button my shirt up. It's kind of weird here. We are in a very cold weekend for Iowa in late October. It's not unheard of to get snow in Iowa in October. Very rare to get it this far south in the state, but they did get snow up in northwestern Iowa last night, so it's coming, right? So I'm guessing my mowing days are pretty much for the year is pretty much over, which had been some of the extra money I could have put away towards the laptop kind of thing. Means I got to get stuff winterized. I have actually had a rare 3-day weekend. The last 5-6 weeks I've worked pretty much every day for the last 6 weeks, and so it's been hard to get motivated this weekend. I'm just being honest. Here it is Sunday. 2 days have come and gone already, and I had plans to do a whole lot of crap outside, and we between the cold and the wind and the rain, it just didn't get done. And of course, it's going to get done at some point, right? And not that y'all care, but my work truck is going to be going into the mechanic shop in real soon. The third gear won't engage anymore. We have issues with sticking in fourth gear. It's been going south for a while now, and so we have a new transmission on order. We're talking about $8,000, $7,500 to $8,000, maybe more by the time it's all done and said. The only good upside to this is we got ahead of this, so the parts been ordered before the truck completely quit working. So I've still been running it. I still have jobs planned for tomorrow and probably Tuesday morning for sure. We should know by Tuesday if they've got the truck part or not. Then it's kind of hit and miss. They say a couple days. My experience, their idea of a couple of days can be weeks. Right, so plan for a couple of days, expect 4 or 5, right? So, it's just kind of the way it goes. Anyhow, this is a completely different video from what I normally do, right? Yeah. So, this may or may not come as a shock. I'm actually a pretty big fan of anime, and maybe I'm not a drooling, drop dead deadhead as some people are. I mean, there are any fandom. I mean, geez. The comic book crowd, I never really got into comic books. I mean, I enjoy a good comic. I enjoy a good comic book, don't get me wrong. But it's one of those, I can't afford to have all this and this and this and this. So I've chose to focus on mostly the game related books, and of course my science fiction novels, sci fantasy novels, things like that. It's apples and oranges, or just knowing where you want to put your resources. That said, I've always had I had a small collection of Star Wars comics back in the day. I was never a big fan of most of the Marvels. A bit more into the X-Men because they tend to be more grittier, right? So, I mean, it's just, but I don't have any of those. What I do have, or did have, was a significant collection of manga. And one of the things about manga, if you're not familiar with it, is that it can be freaking pricey. You can get quite pricey on these things and not think about it. So, recently, it came to my attention because I have a subscription to Netflix. It's the only thing I have for entertainment aside from the internet itself for the home, and they had a live action of One Piece. Now, One Piece is kind of a campy, goofy, boys-oriented comic series that goes back damn near 30 years, and I remember seeing my first issue of One Piece when it came out. It premiered in a magazine called Shonen Jump, I believe was what it was called. And I ended up with a prescription, or a subscription. Yeah, prescription. I got a subscription to Shonen Jump. Geez, I can't tell you how many decades ago it was. It was a long time ago. And my reasoning for it and I have a handful of anime floating around here. I mean, it's like this here, right? This here is something that another aficionado that I knew enjoyed, and he pointed out that they had these things. So I got a couple of these actually, and you can go through and see, you know, just about every anime, manga, and a lot of hentai that's ever been printed and produced and what they're called. And so I had a series called Nana. It's like 20 odd mangas in it, and then they did a live action version of it. Of course, you have to watch it with dubs on because it's in Japanese. And then there's what was the other one? Strawberry 100% was another series that I got suckered into. And then there's one where this young wizard kid trying to teach a school full of rejects or something. I don't remember what the name of that one is off the top of my head. Then there was a gritty police drama series, and then one, oddly enough, on tennis. And I'm not a tennis guy. I mean, really not a tennis guy. But here's the thing. So I saw a copy of Shonen Jump at one of the bookstores back in the 90s, and the damn thing's like a small phone book. It's about a half inch, quarter inch, between a quarter inch and an inch thick, depending on the issue. And so there's quite a few different strips in there. And it introduces you to some pretty name-line stuff. I mean, here you can see Naruto, and we got One Piece of and then there was Rosario Vampire plus Vampire or something, and something else. And so the value here is that you would get a repetitive series over, you know, every month, every issue that came out, and you get quite a few of them for your $1. But compared to spending $15 on average for an individual manga, you could get a subscription for about $40 a year and get 12 of these bad boys get one every month, and it's going to have about the equivalent of 4 or 5 mangas worth of material in there. An abridged version or a shrunken down version, but the point is it was a good investment. So that's how I got into it, and then which led me to getting into a subscription for Sojo Beat. And if you're not familiar with any of this stuff, that's fine. But so the one on the right here, Shonen Jump, is for boys. The one on the left here is for girls. So, and which is kind of stupid. I mean, there's a lot of more mature themes in the girls-oriented version of this than in the boys, and there's a lot more to say that there's a fan service, more fan service in one than the other is doing disservice, because that's not true. This fan service is pretty thick on both sides. So anyhow, it was through getting a one-off. You know, they sent a complimentary copy of Shoujo Beat, and then I said, oh, you know, this might be worth exploring. So I got I got a year's subscription to it, and that's led to a number of years. And I had a whole selection, along with a lot of stuff. Things got put into storage. When I left my folks' house, a lot of my personal effects that I couldn't take with me got put into the attic of my mom's house. And then some years later, my dad passed away, and I couldn't get back to the house to do anything. And my aunt and her son, my cousin, moved in because she had decided she didn't want to pay her property taxes for like 8 years in a row, and they took her house. And happened about the same time my dad passed away. It was real convenient for my aunt. They moved into my mom's house, and then they decided they wanted the old upstairs bedrooms that my wife and I had lived in for years, because we had one for our bedroom, one for our daughter, and one for we quote, our living space. So we basically had the entire upstairs, and so she wanted some of those rooms. So they took our old bedroom, which is a center room. Because my folks' old house had 2 sets of stairs going up. One led up to my bedroom, which was on the end of the house, and then one led up to the little hallway that serviced the master bedroom, the little bedroom, which was in between the hallway and my bedroom, which back in the day was my sister's bedroom, and the smallest bedroom, which my dad used as a den. And so they basically wrecked the entire upstairs. In the process, they put a lot of my stuff. Some of it got stuck into the attic. And I think the only reason it got into the attic is because that's where I put it, and they didn't know it was there. and that stuff survived, which includes most of my my novels and my role-playing game material. And if you've ever had to move stuff like this, it takes a lot of space and it's heavy. So it's not something you just lightly pack up and schlep around with you. So in some places, it's just not you're just not feasible to bring any of it. So it went into storage, and then the rest of my stuff, it would have been stored in the quote our old bedroom closet, got stuck out in the barn, and that included most of my battle technology magazines, a whole slew of Mech Force and Stardate magazines, and Dungeons and Dragon magazines. I had boxes of them, and then of course my anime collection, with with the exception of a handful of books and manga, some that I had with me, and some that were stored in a different spot. So anyway, the point is that I was a really big fan of this. So when the One Piece or Netflix came out with a live action One Piece, I'm jaded or a pessimist in many, just about everything. So I tend to look at those and think, try to take it at just a face value entertainment that it's meant to be, and not put anything too serious in it. So I started watching it, and I ended up binge watching the damn thing over a weekend, all 8 episodes, and it was damn good, very good, and very close to the original manga, which, the animated series I've seen off and on, hit or miss. I never watched the entire thing. I'm trying to work my way through it now via Netflix because of my re-fascination with the One Piece live action. And of course, there's a lot of weird shit to it. I mean, you just have to understand how this plays, how this particular world's envisioned. But there's a lot of stuff I took away. First off, was early on I realized that there was some extremely dark and heavy backstories to just about everybody in One Piece, regardless of their bad guys or good guys. And a lot of times the bad guys are bad guys because of circumstances. And sometimes the bad guys are just because that's just the way it works. If you want to make an argument, Nami starts out as a bad guy. She's actually a villain in the very beginning of One Piece, and but her reasons for being a villain are extremely, noble in many ways. She sacrificed everything, including agreeing to work with the pirate Arlong, basically as his slave map maker. And eventually, while he dominated the village that she grew up in, that her sister lived in, even though the fact that Arlong killed her mother in front of her when they were younger, because her mom didn't have enough money to pay the head tax for all 3 of them, so she paid for her 2 girls, and Arlong shot her mom. And so that's how this, and every one of their act stories just keep rolling along. And so Nami's hell bent on freeing her village, cuts a deal with Arlong, and believes he's going to hold to his word because he never goes back on his word crap. And so he conveniently uses the sidestep and manages to screw her out of what she's intending to get anyway. So she ends up really needing to ask for help, which is something that goes totally against her character. So there's a lot of layers in One Piece, and a lot of character development, a lot of exploration into the human psyche and the human mindset, despite all the silliness and the goofiness and the ridiculous seeming artwork. I mean, the artwork's good. I mean, as a wannabe artist, I'm telling you, the artwork is really good. It's not that, it's just the style of how it's presented. I mean, Usopp has always come off as looking as some bad parody of a blackface, and I hate to say it, but it's true. His over exaggerated lips and the nose just sticks out like I don't know. He's just like a literal comic book character, poorly drawn, poorly thought out. Even though his character is extremely deep and very complex, the fact that the young fellow that's playing the live action version of him is able to pull it off, it's real good, because he is a bundle of contradictions. Usopp is. I'm just using that as an example. So that said, I was very excited to see it, and I'm looking forward to see the next season. And it wasn't. It did come as a surprise that it turned out to be so real good. It really is engaging. It's entertaining. Yeah, there's a lot. There's issues, but you know what? There's always issues. No matter what you do, you're never going to get 100% perfect rendition of something. Especially trying to take something that's a fantasy from a fantasy setting or a science fiction setting and bring it to a real life view, so we can engage with it. We can become immersed in the world and buy into it. So in Oda, I believe is the name of the fellow that's the creator of the strip. He first off is a master storyteller, and he never forgets anything. Where he's got a very extensive collection of back notes, because all these characters are interconnected in some pretty weird ways, and sometimes they're very superdiprious, or whatever you want to call it, however you want to pronounce it. It's just kind of interesting, and he makes a point that they all have a connection somehow, and sometimes it comes in some pretty unique and wow kind of moments, and the fact that the series has been so popular, and it's gone up in popularity, that it's damn near going on, what, 28 years almost. That's impressive by anybody's measurement, by any meter. That's an impressive thing. So my fascination started on a lark, because somebody one of my people that was coming to the gaming group I was involved with was a huge anime fan, and back in the early 90s, and he kept trying to. Well, he showed me some anime, and of course that led to some hentai and stuff like that, which leads you back to some more anime, and it's just kind of like a weird circle. So I started getting interested in it, and once again, the books themselves, I know that I bought 23 volumes of the Nana series, for example, and Nana is very adult. It's a very adult-minded series, and in a nutshell, it's about two young ladies that are polar opposites of each other, that share the same first name, meeting on a train outside of Tokyo, and then eventually becoming roommates, and one's a member of an up and coming band, and then the other one becomes a groupie of a band member, and it just pulls you along. But an average was $15 to $18 a piece for each one of them damn books. So it's just like the downside with a manga versus the novel is that you go through it much faster than you do a novel. So your bang for your buck is visual, yes, but it doesn't go as far. And then there's the like I said, you have to just keep getting the next one, and then we're back down to that vicious circle for some of us, for a lot of us. But how many of these can you sustain, right? If I've got 5 different series that I'm enjoying, and I have to buy a new book every month for each series, now I'm dropping $100 on average a month on these things. That starts to add up. And as opposed to, say, that whole $100 paying for 3 different magazine subscriptions for the entire year. So this is how I ended up with Shonen Jump. I ended up with Sojo Beat, and then I had Anime Insider, and I still have a few of these bad boys that showed up, or that I got in my mail. So it's just your typical really good magazine. It's got all kinds of artwork and amateur artwork, professional stuff, bring us from different systems or different series and different authors. Then we talk about some things that are going on here. The demise of Central Park Media is exaggerated. If it were anime, Ghostbusters, right? So I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff in here, and I really enjoyed it, because it really gives you more detailed, specific information on individual characters within a lot of the various mangas, and of course it varies from month to month. But the dollar value for me was quite a lot. Now I don't have subscriptions to any of these anymore. I haven't had any. I don't think I've bought a manga in probably 7 years, 8 years now. No, 9. It's probably going on 9 years. 9 years since the last time I did a manga, or bought a manga. But that's in part because, well, once again, I'm trying to my interest is revitalized into BattleTech and my gaming hobby, and so what little precious little resources I have going that way, I can't do both, and then even now I can't really afford to do that either because you know, you hear me gripe. I've got a broken pipe, a rusting out pipe somewhere under my house slab that's going to have to get fixed at some point, and I don't know how the hell I'm supposed to do that. I'm still trying to pay my furnace off and catch up the medical bills. I still owe about $600 in medical bills to my for my wife's knee surgery back in the spring, and she's complaining about her hands being hurting again, so she's talking about possibly needing yet another damn surgery. And then well, yeah, and then the damn laptop. It's I need at least $400 for a decent laptop, plus the $100 of the cost for the stupid antivirus software that you have to freaking have in these things. And I ain't looking forward to that because the end of the year's coming up, and the one I got for this one's fixing to be got to be coming up on its expiration date at some point. And I'm not happy with Norton whatsoever. So my intentions, I hope, is to get there before that happens and cancel Norton and replace it with something else, right? It's just like my internet access. Those Mediacom is what's in my region that's in my actual neighborhood. I'm limited to that because none of the competitors have lines that they have at line access in my neighborhood. Although MetroNet is coming and they put in fiber optics and cables this spring or this summer, it's still a long way off before everything's up and running. And they're promising me $75 a month as opposed to the $129 Mediacom's charging me for just internet access. And I don't know, but that seems excessively fucking high to me, right? And I keep hearing about Verizon having basically a home hotspot internet service now that you can get for $50 or $60, and I highly wonder how effective it is. My concern about it is anything with you're dealing with frickin' broadcast is, well, these videos and stuff take a lot of crunch. So if you're trying to upload videos to YouTube and stuff, how much would they be affected? And somebody told me that uploading to the internet is it takes more juice to do it, more computing power, as opposed to downloading from the internet, which I'm not quite sure if that actually is a thing. Anyhow, so I don't know. If you're not into anime, you're not into manga, you're not into cartoons. Hey, that's great. A lot of people aren't, and a lot of people outgrow them. But there's a lot of material out there made specifically for adults, and the Japanese have an entire plethora of subject and topics that interest you, from cooking anime to 100 different types of sports to just about any social drama and comedic scenario you can think up. They've probably come up with something for it. So, right, just saying. I just wanted to share that I really like this stuff, and it's really of an interest. And if you do have an opportunity to see the One Piece live action on Netflix, I really recommend trying it. If you've never seen the series, it'll be a great experience. If you're familiar with the series, you should probably be impressed with it. Now, I'm not going to deny that there are some, people griping about this, that, and the other thing. Especially somebody's bra size. But to be fair, her bra size keeps getting bigger throughout the series and started small at the very beginning. So, I don't think that the actress is going to follow that path. But I'm just pointing out the obvious there. So mostly the fanboy crybaby shit. Is what it is. So if you get a chance to see the video or the series, I'd watch it. It's just my personal opinion. Anyway, I'm Rick. You're not. Till next time. Let's see how long it takes for the transition to kick in. And it didn't even do a damn thing. Ay,